You know, it's kind of annoying to me whenever I watch all of these different YouTube channels of people talking about how to build these apps with Claude Code. And they're not actually talking about the bigger picture of where are we today and how should we be building with Claude Code. Not here's how you use Claude Code. Like, cool, we get it. How should we be using the tools to actually build something of value, build something meaningful that actually does things, actually has economic value? How should we be using Claude Code? And I think that's one of the interesting things that kind of pisses me off a little bit is everybody's talking about here's how you use this tool technically from a technical standpoint. And I'm just like, are you under a rock, bro? Like last year, 2 years ago, you didn't even use these tools to build things. This year, they're now building they're writing 90% of the code while you're kind of like doing the conceptual stuff. And you're like connecting the things together conceptually, architecturally, and those types of things. And now if you talk to a model like GPT-5 Pro, not just GPT-5, but GPT-5 Pro, it can start to do those things now too. And it won't be long from now, maybe next year, where that's also in the IDE, that's also in Cursor, that is also in Claude Code. And the technical stuff will just kind of be something that we look backwards at while we are maximizing creativity, maximizing the ideas that we have rather than just the technical ability for us to do things, because that's something that is going away. I think people kind of like lose sight of that and they kind of don't look at the bigger picture. They're so caught up in the day to day of what is happening right now. Everything's moving so fast. You can't really tell. Because just last year, this wasn't possible. And it is this year. What's going to be possible next year? That's what we really need to be focusing on. Instead of just like, what are the tactics to build? Say, why should I be building? So that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. And that's why I'm a little pissed off. Because everybody's making these, oh, here's how you vibe code. Here's how you click buttons. I don't care, dude. I already know how to do that. Anyways, let me get into the actual video here. If you don't know me, my name is Neil McDevitt. I basically spent like the past 3 or 4 years in the marketing space. I ran a marketing agency. I have worked with a lot of big brands, and I have helped people make hundreds of thousands of dollars per month, some cases millions of dollars. And it's been really fun. I've learned a lot along the way, and I'm saying that humbly so that you know that you can actually listen to me. But anyways, let's jump into the actual video here. The goal of this part of the video is to help you identify what market should I even be going into? What should I even be building at all? Like, what idea is something that is actually economically valuable that I should actually be paying my attention to? Because I've seen so many people to spend weeks, months, years spending all this time building the perfect product that they're so excited. They show their mom, and their mom's like, yo, honey. And they show their grandma, and their grandma's like, yes, finally. And then they show everybody. They show their friends, and their friends are like, yeah, I'd buy that, man. And then they go to ship it to the market, and the market just completely rejects it. And the person's like, well, I just spent all of this time, all of this valuable, precious time that I'll never get back. It's wasted. All on building this product that nobody even likes. Nobody is buying it. And that's a very painful thing. And I see it happen to people all the time. But there's the most simple thing you can do to fix that is simply flip the process on its head. Instead of starting with the product, start with the market. Go to the market. The very first thing you need to do is identify what market should I actually get into. The first thing I would do if I were you, is ask yourself, what are the things that you are interested in? Or if you're not extremely interested in the things, make it something that's like, you're interested enough to actually understand enough to make a product. Like, you have to be somewhat interested in the thing if you want to compete. Or you can grow interested in it if you really like want to. But you have to be somewhat interested if you want to compete. So that's number one. Find something that is like relative interest to you. From there, you need to figure out what niche within this market space is not dying. Especially right now, it's becoming harder and harder to find a niche that is growing or not dying, especially not dying. Right now, there's so many things that are like dying, and most people don't even realize it because we're at like the very beginning of the AI revolution. The models are pretty capable, but they're really not that capable. So there's a lot of niches that are alive today that probably won't be very soon. There's entire markets that are alive today that might not be very soon. So it's becoming really hard, especially right now while we're at the inflection point of this transition period, where it's very hard to make the correct decision on what market, what niche should I actually go into. Probably 90% of the people right now that are building these types of products are just in the complete wrong niche because they just don't see that the niche that they're in is dying, and they don't know because we're at the beginning of this inflection point. So one thing I would think about a lot is the accelerating curve of this technology of AI. I would think about how this technology works and how it is likely to impact these niches and these markets, and then play out the second and third order consequences of all of these different things. And that can help you build a world model for how this is going to play out and adjacent to all of the niches and markets and products that you could potentially build. This is the most important part of the entire thing, especially if you want to build a long-term business model. If you just want to build like fast cash, little like a kind of like a, I'm trying to think of an example. Peter Levels usually builds like character.ai or those interior design AI things. Those aren't maybe the best examples, but those are something that it isn't going to last probably 10 years. You know, you're probably not going to see character AI outlasting certain things. Maybe character AI is the wrong company. I'm thinking of a company. Character AI does not sound like the correct name. But I think you might have like an idea of the point that I'm trying to make here. There's like a good example would be like, let's say I'm creating an app where I take a selfie and I want to change my hairdo so I can see what I look like with different hairs before I go get my hair cut. That's solving a problem for cosmetics, right? That particular app might not be something that lasts 10 years because pretty soon people just go to ChatGPT and probably do that. They won't even need my app. Or there's other examples similar to that where they're very trendy. You can leverage trends and grow really quickly, but they're probably not going to last very long. If that's your goal, some of the niche selection stuff doesn't really apply to you. If your goal is just like quick cash, maybe not. If you want to build a real long-term business, you're going to need to spend a lot of time thinking about the niche that you're actually choosing, the market that you're going into. Otherwise, you're going to have to jump from niche to niche to niche as one is going under and another one is prevailing. And I think a lot of people are already starting to do that. I've been in the marketing space, as I said, for a very long time, and I've already seen years of people doing that. Like, there's so many people from the space that I was in, I know their names, and their offer changes literally every 6 months to every year. They just go from thing to thing to thing to thing. They're always trying to catch the next trend. And it can work. You can like survive like that, but you're not going to build anything massive or big. You're not going to build anything that's like a real company. You're just going to kind of like be riding the trend and barely making it. So depending on your goal, you can do that if that is your goal. But if your goal is to build something large, again, you need to spend a lot of time doing the thought experiments, building a world model for how AI works, how it's going to impact the entire economy, how it's going to impact all of the markets and niches and companies adjacent to the technology, and then what are the second and third order consequences from there, and then what are the implications off of that. Yeah, you're going to have to model that as to the best of your ability. And you can actually do it. It becomes pretty easy whenever you think about that and then you apply the inversion principle and then you say, show me all the things that are going to die so I know to not go there. This is the inversion principle by Charlie Munger. I recommend to look into it. So that's number one, picking the market, which is the most important thing. Far none, the most important thing. The thing that is going to dictate the success of a company over anything else ever is the market that you choose. We're going to an era of allocation, not engineering, not skills, allocation. You're not going to be technical. You're not going to be engineering. You're going to be allocating intelligence. You're going to be allocating attention. You're going to be allocating capital. You're going to be allocating compute. You're going to be allocating energy. And you are an investor. That's the new game. It's not that you are a technical engineer anymore. You are a capital allocator, and intelligence, labor, and silicon form is a new form of capital. Okay? That's how you need to be thinking. That is the mindset shift you need to make. And that's why we're spending so much time on just picking the right market, because you need to allocate your attention and then all of your resources to the correct thing. Otherwise, you're going to die. Show me where I'll die so I know to never go there. Show me all the markets that won't exist because they're going obsolete because of AI, so I'll never go there. Again, okay? Let's move on. I think I hammered that point home. So if you want to build something long-term, take that seriously. If you're trying to make quick cash, you don't have to take it as seriously. I still recommend to take it a little bit seriously, but you get the point. After that, you want to go through a few more filters, just like 2 to 3 more filters from there. You already got the heavy lifting out of the way. You got the most important thing out of the way. The next important filter is there a large total addressable market for this new handful of niches? I already eliminated all of the bad niches that are dying. I have this new select few handful of niches that I think are going to be the perfect niches for me to go into. Let's look at these and decide which one has the largest total addressable market, which one has the most purchasing power, and kind of find the nexus point between those two. And then from there, you need to ask yourself, how easy is it to target this niche? If it's super easy to target, they have a lot of individuals and they are all rich, you're going to have a fantastic time. You're going to have a fun time building your business. And even if you want to put a little cherry on top, you can find the hot trends in that niche so you can grow as fast as possible at the beginning stages. And if you want a little gold nugget for finding trends, I recommend to look up exploding topics. You're going to go to different topics and see the ones exploding. You can go to Glimpse, discover trends before they're trending. Go to Glimpse, look at the trends, or you can go to Sell the Trend. Okay, these are just some golden nuggets, some ways that you can find some trends, or you can just use Google Trends. It works perfectly fine. Okay, so that was step 1. Now for step 2, and this is identifying the type of business model you want to actually pursue. You can do like the fast cash style of model where you're just trying to make a little viral app real quick. It doesn't even have to go viral. You just want something that's going to make like quick cash, and then you can market on like TikTok or like Facebook ads to a bunch of like trendy grandmas, whatever. I don't even know. No, usually these types of apps are kind of like the example that I was giving of you take a selfie and you want to understand what your hair would look like a different way. So you take a selfie and you say, I want to put a buzz cut on, or I want to put my hair in a ponytail, or I want to have bangs, or I want to do this. And you try your hairstyle in different ways to see how it fits your face. And you can do that without having to get your hair cut. That's something that people will pay for. Not a lot, but people will pay for it. It solves a little bit of a problem, which is anxiety. So that is a problem that is solvable with AI today. And it's an app that will probably work. So that is kind of like the fast cash drop shipping style of software product that I was talking about. So for this type of product, obviously, you're going to want high volume. You're going to want to test many different types of products for this. You can, after you've chosen your niche in your market, you can have like a bunch of different products within these different categories within that niche. And you can like test out all of the products and see how well each one is growing, and kind of like defaults on the one that is growing the best, because that's probably the winning product, and you can iterate on that from there. And leverage trends. For this one, you really need to leverage trends. You need to lean all in on the trends, and then you can pivot often. TikTok is a fantastic way to market these. You could go on TikTok and look at those the TikToks that people make of different products. Use the same ones that people use to sell like physical products. You can use the same type of strategies to sell software. Same strategies. We'll talk about marketing more in different videos. This is all about choosing your product. Next, is the next option you can do is you can build something long term. So there's the fast cash drop shipping model, or there's the empire building model. This is personally my personal choice. I like to build big vision, something that's very long term. I want to have, I don't know, something really big that I'm proud of, and not just something that's like a quick cash, trying to rip as much money as I can out of the ether. I want something that's kind of like a legacy building, I guess you could say. And that's my goal, personally. You don't have to have that goal. I'm just kind of sharing. So for this, basically develop a vision for the future. Build a platform that improves as the models improve. So if you are using like GPT-5 within the software application that you're building, build a platform that is at the edge of the capabilities of these models, and as the models improve, it only makes your product that much better. And number 3 is focus on branding and ecosystems. So you can have different ecosystems of products, different ecosystems of different things, and then focus on branding at high level and try to propagate the memetics of your brand is the best way I can put it. Cool. And then we can get into designing the product from there. That's kind of where you get into like talking with GPT-5 and getting the specs out, getting the idea out, and then laying out all that information and then putting it into your Claude MD file and then coding it from there. Pretty simple stuff. Okay, so to give you a better procedure for how this works, something that you can take action on, that's a lot easier and very potent. This is actually exactly what I'm doing right now and on my other YouTube channel. This is what I'm doing. I pick a niche, I find my niche, I begin to build an audience in that niche. I am building a community of people in that audience. So let me make this more clear. I select a niche. I build an audience. This means I am posting on YouTube. Now I have an audience of people that are watching me. There's a bigger audience on my other channel than this one. Both audiences are still small, but they're growing. Now I'm building a community of people in that audience. I have a community linked in the description below. You can join it if you want. You don't have to. But basically, I'm building a community of people in my audience. There's over 400 people in there or something like that. And I'm having conversations with the people in my audience about their pain points, about a whole bunch of different things. Not even just pain points, about everything. I'm having conversations all the time. We're having fun conversations. We're having conversations about the future. We're having conversations about business. We're having conversations about artificial intelligence. We're having conversations all the time. It's pretty great. And from there, I learn a lot about the ideal customer profile in my audience. I learn a lot about my audience. I learn a lot about all these different things, and I can build products around that. Cool. From there, I collect feedback, and then I reiterate on the product. And then I collect feedback and I reiterate on the product. And I kind of repeat that little cycle until I have a really good product. And then I can, guess what? Add another product after that product is pretty much like I'm hitting the diminishing point of return on my time. And that's pretty simple, pretty effective way to do things. Now, let's jump into how this works in practice. So we already started with the market backwards approach. I gave you some little gold nuggets on how to find trends. I pretty much told you exactly how to find markets. Pretty simple stuff. It can be anything adjacent to health, wealth, relationships. Those are beautiful markets that will pretty much always be in style. Health, wealth, and relationships. And then from there, I kind of go to ChatGPT and I have conversations and kind of like lay out my vision. After I have the market for this example, I'm using the cosmetics market. That example I was using of you take a selfie and you change your hairdo, you change your hairstyle so you see what it looks like with your face shape before you actually go get your haircut. That's the product that I chose. So it's a cosmetics product. It's kind of somewhat trending. Looks maxing is a trend right now. So you can make it like a looks maxing product, which probably going to grow pretty well if you make it a looks maxing product. Yeah, I think it'll be a pretty good product, to say the least. And then from there, you kind of just continue your conversation with ChatGPT. You say, hey, here's my idea. This is what I said. I want to create an app that tests haircuts on people. So let's say I take a picture of my face with a selfie on my phone. The AI will change my hairstyle, and I can see what that hairstyle will look like. What would be the best AI models to use to allow me to do this? I'm thinking potentially Flux Point 1 context or whatever it's called. Do you have any better recommendations? Let me know. So basically what you want to do is you want to think about the product. Since I am making this product, which is you take a selfie and you test out hairdos, what are the components of this product? Well, really there's one component, and it is an AI model, right? And Flux 1 context seems like the best AI model for this. And I also asked for other AI models just in case. But this seems like a pretty good AI model for this. It seems pretty effective. So I asked about the AI model, and it actually recommended down here to do Flux 1 context, which is the exact one that I mentioned. There's also some other ones that it mentioned. I would have to find it in here. I've passed it. Here's one that it mentioned. This one didn't look too bad. There's another one that looked a little bit better that I might use. It was the Hair Fast Gan, that one. I can go right here and probably find it. Let's see, view PDF. Load. Yeah, right here. This one's not too bad either. I think this is the one at least. So basically, I can go get these AI models, whatever, and then I can, they're not the best. Yeah. Okay, some of these are better down here. Yeah, I can get these AI models, and I can put it in my product, and then I can talk with GPT-5 a little bit further and kind of see how it would do things. And then it created me like this architecture right here. Basically a concept for it, and I can go in and see like, is this what I want, is this not, and then re-explain how I want things, and then think about things a little bit deeper, re-explain how I want it again, and then it'll get a somewhat of an idea of what I want, and then I'll have it build the system prompt to then put into my Claude MD file. And then if you want me to show you a tutorial on how to do that, let me know in the comments below. I will put it into my Claude MD file, and then continue vibe coding from there. And then now you have a product. And the biggest thing is marketing these days. It's all about distribution. It's not about being technical. It's not about just building the perfect product. While you do need a good product, it's a distribution game now. There's like two different types of businesses. There's product businesses and there's sales and marketing businesses. And software forever has been a product business. But now, since it's easy to build software, it is becoming a marketing and sales business. Rocket building is still a product business because it's very hard to build the product of rockets. You don't need to market SpaceX. SpaceX markets itself because the product is fucking amazing. As the barrier to entry lowers and it becomes easier and easier for more and more people to build within that space, that business model becomes a marketing and sales business instead of a product business. So all of software is not a product business. It's kind of an idea business, but it's mostly a marketing and sales business now. So that's why we approached it this way. That is why we approached it this way. You have to be a marketer. You have to be a salesperson if you want to build software. Otherwise, go build hardware. That being said, I'm going to wrap up the video here. Again, the biggest thing you need to take away from this video is this 7-step plan. Find your niche, build an audience, build a community of people in that audience, have conversations, solve it with the product, collect feedback, reiterate, blah, 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 blah. And again, remember this stuff as well so you can pick the correct market. Otherwise, you're going to have a hard time. Do the market backwards approach. This is how you actually build successful products. That being said, I'm going to end the video here. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.